In the valley where the red dust settles deep in the tracks of the ancestors, lived Silani. She walked with a stride that suggested she knew a secret the world had forgotten. The air around her didn't just move, it shimmered, as if her very presence was a quiet rebellion against the gravity that sought to pull her down. Silani's grandmother, Selah, was a woman carved from basalt and wisdom. She spent her afternoons teaching Silani that a woman's worth was not measured by the gold in her ears, but by the fire in her marrow. "They will try to write you down in history with bitter, twisted lies," Selah whispered, braiding Silani's hair with steady, rhythmic fingers. "But like dust, my girl, you will rise." As Silani grew, the village grew colder. A man named Jace, who held the keys to the town's grain and trade, looked at Silani with eyes like flint. He hated the way she walked, as if she had oil wells pumping in her living room. He sought to dim her light with heavy taxes and sharp words, hoping to see her spirit bow under the weight of his expectations. The drought came, and the earth cracked like a broken mirror. While others lamented the dry riverbeds, Silani went to the fields alone. She knelt in the parched soil, her hands calloused and stained with the earth. She didn't pray for rain. She worked as if the water was already flowing through her veins, planting seeds in the places others had abandoned. Selah visited Silani in the field, bringing a jar of water and a shimmering golden shawl. "Do not let their gloom bespeak your end," Selah said, draping the cloth over Silani's tired shoulders. "You have the moon and the sun in your stride. Let them wonder where you get your magic." Silani felt the silk against her skin and remembered who she was. Then came the great storm, not of rain, but of change and hardship. The village was swept by a sudden economic collapse, and many lost their homes. The wind howled through the valley, threatening to tear away everything Silani had built. She stood at the edge of her small garden, her feet planted deep, refusing to be moved by the chaos swirling around her. When the dust finally settled, the valley was transformed. Out of the huts of history's shame, Silani emerged. She had not only survived, she had thrived. Her small garden was the only patch of green for miles, and her spirit remained unbroken. She stepped out into the light, her eyes sparkling with the certainty of a woman who had conquered the dark. Jace passed her in the square. His shoulders slumped where once they were arrogant. He saw Silani and marveled at her grace. She didn't look at him with anger or spite. Instead, she laughed, a sound like clear water over stones. She walked past him with a bounce in her step, as if she had diamonds at the meeting of her thighs. Silani turned her garden into a sanctuary. She built a school where the walls were made of mud and the dreams were made of starlight. She became the hope that the ancestors had dreamt of, a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling she bore in the tide. She was no longer just a girl from the valley. She was the valley's heartbeat. One evening, a young girl named Imani came to sit by Silani's side. Imani looked at her own small, dusty hands and wondered if she could ever be so tall. Silani took the girl's hand and pointed to the horizon where the sun was beginning to climb. "Leaving behind nights of terror and fear," Silani whispered, "I rise, and so will you."